Welcome to this first audio guide, and there will be 3 more all through the months of November, all around the topic of inner freedom and what it is, why you want to be cultivating it, how you can access it better or at all. And the way I'm intending these audios to work is that you might want to listen to them almost like more of an energetic transmission, or maybe like there will be even parts which are more meditative. So you might simply just want to listen to them and have a wash over you and see, what it evokes in you, if it resonates, kind of, what happens inside of you when you listen to it. There might be bits that you want to journal on. So I might mention things or ask questions, and I would suggest the first time you listen, just listen to it. And then if you do think there are things you want to explore deeper, maybe listen to them again. And that time maybe with pen and paper. I will also make suggestions maybe where there is something where I feel like maybe that's something for you to explore more in depth. And then, of course, we also have the masterclass coming up on the 9th of November, where we take everything more deeply. So these are kind of short audio guides for you to have, something to work with. But then if you feel like, it's something I really want to explore deeper for myself, then I definitely invite you to join us for the masterclass where, we just go much more in depth and you can really, delve deep into it. So first of all, I just wanted to clarify what the inner freedom is, or my understanding of the inner freedom, and why it is so important to cultivate it, because it is, of course, very closely linked to, other qualities of our inner strength, inner power, trust, confidence, even self-esteem, and all these things. But for me, like the way I have experienced or seen inner freedom is, it's almost a gateway to all these other qualities. And for me, it's very closely also linked to giving yourself permission almost to access all these other qualities. But I've very rarely seen it talk about as a visceral feeling, which is how I want to talk about and how it's, been showing up for me. And well, it shows up like that. It can show up like that for everyone. But again, it's not, I just haven't seen so much people talk about inner freedom kind of almost as a feeling. And that's really what I want to invite you to explore, because again, I think it is very powerful. And I want you to, have that experience and see what it can unlock for you. So inner freedom, really, you could almost say, is like the veil that you want to remove to be able to, get to all these inner resources, inner qualities, to your own inner jewels that we all have, but we cannot always access. And in a way, that means that when you are able to have a feeling for what inner freedom is, or how to access it, what to do with it, you change your relationship to yourself, or your sense of self, really. So, and as I said, that inner freedom is very closely linked to giving yourself permission. Just that I find if you only say, I'm giving myself permission, it doesn't always go as deep as you want it to go. Whereas once you manage to kind of have that inner feeling of inner freedom, it almost comes naturally then that you don't have to give yourself the permission anymore. You just naturally have that access, like I said, to those other resources. And so ultimately, of course, what that freedom can help you with is, anything, any real, all the cool qualities you might want to have to make, your life more awesome. Confidence, being decisive, being able to trust yourself. And with that, your outside environment, other people, it can help you to create more easily and with more joy. And that's something we'll explore more next week, in next week's audio, for example. And ultimately, once you have that sense of what that inner freedom means, like any kind of action you want to take around anything that's hopefully meaningful and important to you, it just becomes a lot more free and easy, because you don't have this kind of back and forth, or this kind of almost inner hesitation, or any doubt, or anything that could come between almost the thought and the action. Because, like I said, because the inner freedom almost removes any internal distortion or disharmony or something that's going on there, misalignment, whatever you want to call it, yeah, things just become much, much more easy. And in a way, I would definitely say that inner freedom is really should be your natural state. Like, if you had no conditioning in your life, which is of course impossible as a human being, but in inner freedom, it's just a clear channel, like I said, from, that initial creative spark and that idea, like the really purest form of creation, to taking the action to actually make it real, make it physical, manifest it in physical reality almost. It's just that, again, like obviously as human beings, we had so much stuff put on us. That's why often we don't know anymore what inner freedom feels like. So, and that's really what I invite you to explore for this month, to exist in this much more liberated, free way that, as I already mentioned, then enables you to have all these other qualities and go through your life easier. So let's move into more of what some people call the energetic transmission. So basically, I will invite you to explore for yourself what inner freedom feels like, so that then it becomes easier and easier for you to keep reconnecting, keep strengthening, and keep coming back to it. Because the more you do that, then of course, the more it will be present for you all the time, or you know how to access it if you need it. Because what of course happens when there's stress or challenging situations, that often all our good intentions also can go out of the window. And then of course, by strengthening those qualities that we really find helpful, they're easier for us to stay connected to stay present with or tune into. So maybe just take a deep breath in and out, because it's always good to settle in a bit. And especially maybe your nervous system is still a little bit overactive, over-aroused or something, then it's always good to just calm down. And of course, a very easy way to do that is to just breathe in and out a few times intentionally, and also be mindful of your breath. And I also always like to connect with the earth's energy, just to really feel grounded and stable in where I'm sitting. And if it feels right to you, maybe have a bit of a scan through your body, just to see if there's anything in particular going on. Maybe there's something you can release. That's always good. But also just to get a bit more familiar with your inner landscape. So first of all, let's start with when you hear the words freedom, inner freedom, what's happening in your body? And especially if you think of inner freedom as this inner lightness, inner permission giving, the inner okayness, that whatever feels right for you is okay, for example, or that whatever you feel or notice is okay. So that kind of feeling of, I just give myself permission that everything else I have inside of me is okay, is meant to be this way, and I can work with it. What comes up for you when you hear that? Does it feel energizing or, light, free? Or does it maybe scare you because I don't know how to handle that? Is there maybe some tightness coming up because I'm just not sure how to navigate that? Just notice that. So let's first of all make sure that your body system, your body-mind system, understands that inner freedom is actually a very safe and supportive thing, because especially if you're maybe not yet that familiar with it, it might feel a little bit, not safe to go there straight away, because freedom is a beautiful thing to have, but of course it can also feel sometimes like too free, like you're not knowing where the stability is anymore. So just, if there's anything like that going on, maybe just see if you can release that. Just ask it to be released, or if it feels right to you, send it towards the light, or breathe into it. Anything that you're just letting your body relax into this, okay, this is a safe thing to explore right now. And it's something, as I mentioned, that's always been with you and it's always been on your side. But I find for many people, we weren't taught that it's our friend and our supporter. So again, just let that awareness, let that acknowledgement, let that just trickle through your body, really. It's completely fine to use that as a resource, as an enabler to your other resources now. It's this internal kind of, I already said, permission giving, the internal ability to choose, the internal ability to, yes, it's just okay. And again, maybe imagine that it's, coming in through the top of your head. And again, you might just want to use the words inner freedom, or the feeling that you're getting with it, like the free feeling that you get with it, not if there's an anxious feeling. And let it trickle through your body. Inner freedom, everything that we mentioned before. What does it evoke? How does it feel? And you just let it, go through your head, through your throat, into your torso, further and further down, maybe also through your arms and legs. And how does it feel? How does that feel? And I also want you to, again, just check in with your own body. If you feel like inner freedom resonates with a particular part of your body in particular. So often it can, it's because it's quite closely linked to your sense of self and your inner power, so it can resonate in a similar area, basically between your second and third chakra, below your ribs, above your belly button. But it might be for you, it's a different place. It might be your heart, might be somewhere in your limb. Again, just see. And if you find a spot, and if you're like, I'm not sure, just imagine where, like, a freedom to choose what feels right to you, a freedom to communicate your choices, a freedom to feel good about what you choose, a freedom to just be okay with you and your choices, your desires, your needs, and everything else that might be coming up for you. And the freedom to stand up for things, not necessarily in a pushy way, but just as an acknowledging your own inner world, inner desires. Where's that sitting? Like, if there would be a part of you, so either you have a part of your body, or you just imagine there is a part of your body where you feel like that's most likely where it resonates. And again, I would like to particularly draw your attention maybe to your gut, because I often find that when we only stay in our head or even our heart area, there's usually a deeper level. So we kind of have different, types of awareness and consciousness in your mind, in your heart, in your gut. And it's just an invitation to check at that level as well. Because that's, of course, where your inner freedom mingles then with your inner power, with your inner strength, with your real sense of self, which sits in that area. And that's where it gets really, really beautiful and powerful. It is going to be helpful even if you just access it from your mind or heart area. But I would definitely invite you to see if you can access this also in your gut. And if not, that's fine, but do see if you drop in inner freedom into your gut, into anything below your ribs, what happens there? Do you get anything? Maybe you get nothing. Maybe you do get something. It might release a lot of energy. It might actually release stuff that you, if you couldn't access it on that level, you might feel a release, and like just a big shift of energy. And then you can even, once you also are able to access it in that part of your body, you might also play with expanding it all through your body. So no matter if you felt it somewhere else or down there or wherever, just ask you to spread all through your body, because ultimately, of course, you want to have it embodied in all your cells. But it's good to know where to access it first. So see if you first can expand it. So you feel completely free in all cells of your body to choose what you want to choose and do what you want to do, and also to stand behind it. And see how that feels. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And again, you might feel it actually moving out some tensions or energies or something that's kind of not supporting it. Okay, I think for today that might be enough for you to have a sense. If you want to keep exploring it, obviously come back to it. And you might want to start playing to connect, to think about situations in your everyday life. Maybe start with, more neutral ones, and you can build it up to more challenging ones. And see, like, if you put yourself in a different situation, what happens, and can you still connect to your freedom? Again, something we will explore deeper, but just notice, like, for example, if you think of a particular situation at home or at work or something, is there a contraction happening, and where's the inner freedom going? And that's why it's maybe really important for you to be aware of where you notice it first, because that's a bit where you need to anchor it back to when you're in different situations. Because we cannot, ultimately always want to have it in all your body, but even if you only have one bit of your body to access it, at least you know it's there and you can access it. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So I'm hoping you're getting a very much better sense, or at least some more ideas of how you can explore that. So I'm just going to give you some more ideas on, like I said, what you can do for working further with it over the week, and maybe journaling around it. And of course you can come back to this to reconnect to it. And you could ask yourself, so if you want to take note of that, what does my inner freedom allow me to do? What does the inner freedom give me permission for? What can I decide when I'm tapped into my inner freedom? What do I know when I'm tapped into my inner freedom? And it might be, like, even see if you can get higher guidance coming through or something. What can my inner freedom accept that I find difficult? What kind of qualities, resources, or inner strengths do I have that I can access when I'm tapped into my inner freedom? What permission does my inner freedom give me to feel like what? What does it allow me to feel? And what kind of empowered choices does my inner freedom let me make? And I want you to connect that also to, your aspirations and dreams and projects that you might have in your physical reality, the things that are meaningful to you. And it might give you also the permission to know what's meaningful to you, but I think you might know already. And that's something for you to explore and work with. And I would, of course, love to know how you're getting on, so you can comment, send me an email to info@nicolinawerther.com, or any other way that feels right for you to get hold of me. Also, if you have questions, please send them in. And you will get another audio guide like this next week, where we'll focus even more on, the relationship between your inner freedom and your ability to create, ultimately the life that you want. But it might be, a small thing you're trying to create right now, a small, like I said, project or something. And we also, of course, have the masterclass where we do a little bit of all the things and then a little bit more. There's going to be a lot more guidance on how to access it even more in different situations, for example. And really, we just want to get even better at navigating it. So if you feel like this is helpful, but you want more, you possibly want to join us. And also, of course, you can ask live questions during the class as well. All right, and you will hear me if you choose to next week. And again, I'm looking forward to connecting with you. Bye-bye.